Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am jacked up today. Man, I am jacked up, and I better make sure I am actually on YouTube. I've had this issue before. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like I am live. So here we go. We're ready to go. I'm actually going to play around. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm ready to go here. So, um, all right. Just it looks like I'm good to go. But if somebody could give me a message and let me know that this is working. All right. Just I want to make sure that it works. I believe it does. It's funny. YouTube. I'm going over to YouTube. YouTube says, okay, so I don't have anybody. All right. Okay, Jimmy. Jimmy, man, it is going fantastic. I'm glad you joined. Hey, man, thank you, man. I'm glad you joined because I have some news uh, specifically for you because I think you're the person that warned me about Bovada. Um, so I had the same issue. I went on Bovada's site. There was a problem with the site. So today I'm going to break down every single game. Plus, I'm going to start off with Thursday night football, but I'm going to break down every single week 3 game. But I'm not going to use Bovada. I hopped on my bookie. I've yet to open an account, but we're using all of my bookie's numbers, which I literally took down minutes ago. So you're getting the up to the date information on all the games. I'm going to break down every single game, and I'm going to come out with a video tomorrow afternoon with my picks, and I'm going to show how much I wagered with my bookie. So unless there's problems with the site, then we'll have to kind of improvise. But for those that were asking, I did have a problem with Bovada's site, so I'm not going to use Bovada. I'm going to use my bookie. A special shout out to Quartz Cozy Cleaning. If you are in the Kansas City area and you want your home cleaned, give Courtney a call. She is coming here next Saturday to clean my apartment. So, and James, go Lions. Yes. we are going to talk about the Lions. As a matter of fact, they have a very interesting game. They broke my heart last year. They broke my heart last year against Arizona. So I am really going to pull for them. They have an interesting matchup. So I am drinking coffee. I know that not a lot of people are here in Kansas City. It's one of those weird Kansas City days. It's like 95 outside, and I'm drinking coffee. Yeah, I'm that type of guy. All right. I want to touch base on Thursday night football. I'm going to kick the show off talking about Thursday night football. It was actually not a bad game, very entertaining game. I think both these teams are about 6-8 win teams. I don't expect either one of these. I don't think either one of these teams are going to the playoffs, but they could. This year, more than most years, it's going to come down to injuries and who can stay healthy and who can't stay healthy. And Mike, I'll cut myself off here. Not yet. I'm actually going to do that tomorrow. And then as soon as I do that and I put my deposit in, I will make a video. So, but when teams stay healthy, that's going to mean a lot. And I think that if Miami and Jacksonville can stay healthy and there's problems with the other teams, they could make a possible wild card appearance. The thing is about both these teams that both these teams are very, very young. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Dan, young? Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing quarterback in the NFL since 1940 something. And you're right. Yes, I know he's been in the NFL for 80 years, but the Dolphins themselves are a young team. And in 2021, when Tua takes over, that's going to be one of the youngest teams in the league. And I think youth and the ability to stay healthy will really make a push. I think the Dolphins are handling things the right way, um, by not letting Tua even look at the field. They had him sitting next to Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I think is very smart. And I'd like to see Ryan Fitzpatrick play what would be his 89th year in the NFL as a backup to Tua if they're smart. And that's what I would like to see. And with Jacksonville, there's a lot of youth on that team. DJ Chark did not play in that game. He's a big time receiver. Laviska Shenault, I'm probably butchering that name. He's a guy they need to find a way to get him involved. If there was a preseason, there is a big time chance that he would be a lot more involved. They used him in a lot of different ways. I loved this kid out of Colorado. He ran a 4.59, but if you watch him play at Colorado, he played a lot faster. So that's why they're able to get him in the second round. Jacksonville's a team that is really building something really, really good. I like what Jacksonville is doing. So no, Jacksonville didn't win the game. Neither one of these teams I really don't think will make the playoffs, but I like the way that both these teams are building their teams up. I think both these teams are going to be teams that in the future will do very well. I loved Tua coming out of Alabama, but a guy who can't stay healthy in college, can you trust him to stay healthy in the pros? That's the problem, and that's why I want Ryan Fitzpatrick to stay with the Dolphins, because I think that if you're the Dolphins, you need a backup that you're going to say, hey, look, we're going to need you to come in and play about 3 to 4 games. And that's something Fitzpatrick can do. And it'll be very interesting to see how they handle that situation. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I want to see him stay in the league. So it'll be very interesting to see if he plays. I think it would be his 88th year in the NFL. So, but Jacksonville, even in a loss, they did impress me. CJ Henderson, they picked on a lot. But I've seen this. Rookie corners. Playing corner in the NFL, a lot of people feel that you can just come in and play corner. You can't. Playing corner is so much more difficult in the NFL than it is in college, because in college, you're basically looking at 4 plays. You're looking at 4 or 5 plays. That's it. In the NFL, it's so different. It's so hard. And I think that even though he had a good week 1, matter of fact, the Chiefs got a decent rookie corner too. But it's really hard to make that adjustment. So I think he's got the athleticism and the ability to be a Pro Bowl corner, but the Dolphins really picked on him. Smart coaching. And I thought it was a good game, but I've watched enough football to know that these are better teams than advertised. It's going to be a lot better than that in that Denver Jets game that we're going to see next Thursday. That's not going to be a fun game to watch, but it could be a good game to put action down on. So, all right, I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Jimmy. I'm going to go through every single game, and there's a few games I'm really kind of eyeballing, but I'm going to make a video depending on what my bookie says. I'm going to try to call him on the phone, but I might just use the chat feature. I was really disappointed in Bovada because they sent me an email. They had a decent promotion. Then the site wouldn't connect. That's a big red flag to me. So, Lions, it's kind of interesting because I'm kind of curious what the relationship is with the ownership and the GM, because as you know, they got new management. I know it's still within the Ford family, but he may not even have the authority to make any trades at this time, because I really think that what they're looking at is to really clean house, maybe very soon. Because here's the deal: if Patricia goes in the next couple of weeks, the GM's going to go as well. And he won't go immediately. He'll go after the season. But I really think that at this point in time, I really think that the Lions may not allow any trades. Me personally, I would be really shocked if they make any trades unless they're able to trade Galladay for like a player and a pick and get like a good deal. So, um, yeah, fear to weed. Oh man, you know what, man? Luke G actually gave me some love on Twitter, and I'll try to limit this rant to just a minute or two. But Luke G has agreed when I went on his show. He said anytime I want to bring somebody on, I can bring Luke G on. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, and I know he's busy, but I'm going to try to work something out here relatively quickly because he's the one who turned me on the StreamYard. He really helped me get set up when I went on his show. I'm going to see if I can get Luke G to come on here because he does his show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm doing mine on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm going to try, and I may not be able to get him on. Lately, the shows have been going on for a while because you guys have been fantastic. The show, it's funny because I call it a show and I have an outline and I do some show prep and I call it a business, but ultimately I'm just doing my favorite thing in the whole world is I'm talking football. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I got to work overtime tomorrow, but let's say I won $1 million a week. I would still be doing this. This is my dream come true is I'm talking with a bunch of smart guys that know their football. So, one minor thing, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it'd really help me out. I've actually been going down in subscribers. I've been like a hair under 600 for like a couple weeks. I was at like 594. I went to 592. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. My channel is scientifically proven to make all your wildest dreams come true. And it really helps me out. It means the world to me. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It means a lot to me. You know, Mike, I'm glad you said that because that's what he reminded. That's what he looked like to me too. He really kind of reminded me a little bit of Marino. He really did. Now he doesn't have the arm talent of Marino. Marino may have some of the greatest. I mean, I'm looking at maybe some of the greatest arm. I don't, Mike. I kind of don't want to go on a Marino rant because I loved Marino. So. Yeah, I'm a huge Marino fan, and one of these days I did a video top 10 running backs of all time. I don't know if you checked that out or not. And the reason why I did top 10 running backs of all time is that if you want to debate top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 corners, safeties, linebackers, offensive linemen, even wide receiver, I could listen to an argument. Now receiver, I'd probably have to go with Rice. You'd have to put a really convincing argument for anybody else except Rice. If you wanted to say Don Hudson, I wouldn't argue that. You want to say Bambi, that would look at some of Bambi's numbers in a 14-game season with the Chargers and look at some of the things he did. It's really crazy. I've heard some people say Moss, and I don't know about that. And James, I was getting ready to say that. You beat me to it, but you're right. Calvin Johnson. I remember watching him at Georgia Tech, and I was like, well, you know, is he a tight end? He built like a tight end. You could make that argument. Calvin Johnson might be the greatest receiver of all time. I've seen some games with Calvin Johnson that I remember he had that. Didn't he have 300 yards against the Cowboys when they had Dez Bryant? Am I correct? I mean, he had some games where I was just like, oh my God, the guy's not human. The Lions had Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. It's actually funny. I'm going to try to limit this rant. I remember Herman Moore. They had Brett Perryman. They had some players I really loved. Old school. Billy Sims. I believe it or not, I used to actually pretend to be Billy Sims in the backyard. I loved Billy Sims. So, yeah. Yeah. So we can argue those things, but my point is with running backs, the greatest running back who ever lived is Jim Brown, and that is not debatable. That is not debatable. All right. So I encourage you to take a look at my top 10 running backs of all time. But if you're going to come on my show, and I will always respect your opinions, I can't listen to anybody tell me that Jim Brown is not the greatest running back of all time. You can argue any other position except for running back. That's why I did top 10 running backs of all time, because I got one right. I got number one right, and that's Jim Brown. Anybody else who thinks anybody else except for Jim Brown's greatest running back of all time, you're wrong. That you are just wrong. There was this idiot who had a list on Twitter who had Jim Brown 12th. He actually had Rondé Barber he had top 25 running backs of all time. He had Rondé Barber, not Tiki Barber, Rondé Barber on the list. And he had Jim Brown at 12th. He had Mike Allstott at 11th, and he tried arguing that Allstott was more versatile, and I immediately blocked that guy. So I'm sorry about my rant here. I'm going to get going here. It's funny. I was tempted to take the over just because that number is so small, but I think for those of you who watch the rebroadcast and you can't watch this later on, Giants 49ers under 42, Jimmy's looking at. I actually thought about doing the over just because the number was so small, but there's so many injuries. I actually think that Nick Mullins could be an improvement at the quarterback position. It'll be interesting, but I think that's not a bad bet. Not a bad bet. You got Chicago +3 if Julio doesn't play, and the money line on Green Bay and the Saints. When you say the money line, which one you got? You got Green Bay? You got Green Bay. If you got Green Bay covering in the dome, that's very interesting. That's bold. The number would be good, though. The number is very good. Chicago +3, and I'll touch base on this because I'm going to show you. I've been seeing 3.5. So I like. Who do you got with Green Bay and the Saints? That's what I'm asking, because you said money line, so I'm guessing that you're going to take Green Bay, which is bold. You're probably getting what, +170 if you're taking Green Bay to win the money line. And everywhere I've seen 3.5, which I'm going to get to in just a minute because my bookie has 3.5. I just got it down. So but Jimmy, I'm going to pull for you on all these. If Julio doesn't play, and I think he is, I do like Chicago. Here's the deal with that game. I think Atlanta has a better team. I really do, but the old school in me, and I'm guessing you're the same way, defense over offense. And McCreary, don't forget Robert, is it Mike McCreary or whatever? The second year right tackle for Atlanta is out. So he's either going to go against Khalil Mack or Robert Quinn. That's going to be difficult. And that's going to be a very interesting game because I want to see how Trubisky plays against a bad defense. Now, keep in mind, Detroit and the Giants don't have good defenses, but this is a game Chicago has to look at and say, we're gonna put 30 up. We need to put 30 up this week. You haven't placed any bets, okay? That's big, and that's an injury. That's what's got me avoiding this game, is that I think Atlanta has a better team, but defense over offense, that's the old school in me. The Giants, Niners under 42, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. And you like Green Bay over the Saints. I would be very cautious because I like the Saints, to tell you the truth. I like the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be really pissed. And Green Bay's had a hard time winning in domes, but that was a game I'm kind of toying with. I'm going to touch base on that game, though, so we're going to have a lot to talk about here. I'm going to go over every single game. So, but whatever bets you put down, please let me know what you're going to do, because I definitely am going to cheer for you. So, hey, James, I've been toying around with this for a long time, but I'm assuming you're from the Detroit area. The weather here in the Midwest is, I'd say it's 95. Next by Wednesday, it could be snowing. I'm sick of the Midwest winters. I'm thinking about moving out to Vegas. Um, so yeah, there's a very good chance that I will be in uh, Vegas very soon. So, but that's kind of long term goal. And Calvin Johnson could. I might have to do that. I might do a top 10 list of receivers and quarterbacks, but I encourage you to look at my top 10 running backs of all time. So yeah. Yeah, there are some really there's a lot of players in the Lions I've always been fond of. Alex, I am doing fantastic. I'm very glad you joined the show, brother. I'm so glad that I found you. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I was like, man, yeah, I found this guy a couple weeks ago. Just joined the show. He's had some great impact, and I'm actually really looking forward to that Houston Texans game. I'm going to start breaking down the noon games here just in a minute. I want to make sure I get every single comment. I actually don't remember Dexter Busty. I don't remember that guy. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I heard about it, and I don't think it's going to happen. And I'll tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me if he went with Houston because I think that he would actually work well with Watson, and I think he's working well with that type of offense that they want to run. But I don't think he's going to sign with the team at all. But that's very interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I've heard AB to Houston, but I don't think he's going to sign. So. No, there is no home field advantage, but a dome is just something Green Bay's always struggled with, and I don't think it's a sound issue. It's just an issue with playing in a dome, and Rodgers has always had an issue. I remember, go back, was it 4 or 5 years ago, where they played that NFC Championship game in Atlanta, and I remember thinking Green Bay was going to win that game, and anyway, I'm going to cut that story short, but he's always struggled in domes. And the thing is, I have a hard time seeing the Saints go 1-2. I really think the Saints are going to play pissed off. I really think the Saints are going to play pissed off. Plus, I got the Saints over 10.5, so I don't want to lose that bet yet. Because if they go 1-2, that's going to be tough. That is interesting, though. It is interesting. And Jimmy, please let me know what you're going to do. I'm going to do my best. I do have to work Saturday. As soon as I'm off work, I'm going to work with my bookie, get the action down, and I'll try to have a video out in the afternoon. I'm going to go over. I got some games. I got some different games that I might be able to help you out on. So, you know what? I've never told anybody this, but where I'll make all your wildest dreams. Subscribing to the DANshow will make all your wildest dreams come true is from Napoleon Dynamite. It's from his speech. Napoleon's friend. I'm trying to remember. Remember, he gives that speech and he says, "Vote for me. I'll make all your wildest dreams come true." So I stole that. Yeah. So yeah. And I love it. Was funny. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, I love that movie, man. I love that movie. Yeah. Yeah. I hate the cold, man. I hate the cold. I'm not built for the cold. I love the heat. I love the heat. I love being outside when it's hot. The mountains are beautiful. And, yeah, there's a very good chance within the next, long story short, I'm going to break down the games here. Vote for Pedro. Yes, that's it. That's where I was going with it. Yes. Yeah, there's a very good chance that within the next 12 to 15 months, my next home will be Las Vegas. And hopefully all you guys will still stay supportive of my YouTube channel, because I can't tell you how much I love doing this. This is without question my favorite thing. You're right, Alex. You're right. I actually really enjoyed that game, and I liked the way Miami looked. Like I said, I think that both these teams are about 6 to 8 win teams. I don't think either team is going to the playoffs, but I liked what I saw out of both teams. Both teams are very young. So, yeah. Jeff, I've never seen you. I've never seen you join my show. I can't thank you enough, man. You don't like the backdrop. I maybe I'll do. I used to do a green screen. So, Jeff, thank you so much for joining my show. Jeff, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I'm assuming you subscribe, but you might not have. I've known Jeff for a very, very long time. Actually, side note, sorry to stop the show like this, Jeff. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. Are you available to go shooting? So let me know. I will text you. So, yeah, I like I said, Fitzpatrick has. This will be his 88th year in the league. So, really, that's interesting. No, seriously, it's 90. It was literally an hour ago. It was like 95 here, and then the week before was 50. It could be snowing next week. So yes. Yeah, next week, me and some buddies were talking about shooting, and I should have called you. So I apologize, Jeff. I should have done that sooner, is get a hold of you. So I'm glad I got a hold of you now. Yeah, next weekend, we're kind of, me and my other buddies are trying to get a hold of it. You've never met these guys, but they're good. They're good people. They may or may not be joining the show later on, but I've been texting them. I've been working a lot of overtime. So anyway, so I've stopped the show so I could talk to my buddy Jeff, who I haven't heard from in a while. So anyway, I am going to share my screen. We are going to go ahead. I'm going to start by just going a little half and half here. We'll go a little half and half here, but hey, you know what? You don't need to look at me right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and just take this off here. And you don't need this here. But by the way, you guys, Jimmy Stonefold, you do need to email me. Please let me know the picks that you're going to make. Again, I will have a video coming out tomorrow afternoon with my picks and how much, and I'll have that out as soon as I possibly can. By the way, all these numbers are from my bookie. I literally took these numbers off about 10 minutes ago, so these lines have changed. I didn't keep track because I was going to go with Bovada when I had some problems with Bovada's site. So everything's off my bookie just from a few minutes ago. We're going to start off with a game that I really like, but it's jumped up in the opposite direction I want. Las Vegas at New England, over under is 47. New England was yesterday a 5. This has been a really fluid game because it's gone from 5.5 to 6 to 5. It's bounced around. I really wanted 5. I like New England in this game. I like the way the Raiders have been playing, but here's the drill. The Raiders are coming off a Monday night game. They're going to the East Coast. They're going to Boston. It's, by the way, I've done research on this before. It's roughly 2,500 miles to play a noon game against a pissed off New England team. I'm hesitant to put action on the over-under, but I like New England. 6 is a big number. I really wanted 5. If it drops to 5.5 or 5, there's a very good chance I'm going to take New England on this one. Next game is Rams at Buffalo. The over-under is 46.5. People I respect have made great arguments for both the Rams and the Bills. But one thing that's been overwhelmingly prevalent is a lot of people really like the over on this game. There's a lot of injuries on the Bills defense, and the Rams defense, despite having the best defensive player in football, is not really that good of a defense. Yes, I'm aware they held Dallas to 17 points, but as I've said many times, I think Dallas is going to be about an 8-8 team. I didn't put it here, and I probably should have. I dropped the ball there. My mistake. So I apologize. This is a error here. It should have been Buffalo. So my mistake. Sorry about that, guys. This was actually 3, and a lot of people really like the Rams. I actually like the over on this game because I have no idea who's going to win. I've heard great arguments for the Rams. I've heard great arguments for the Bills. Here's my honest breakdown. I actually like the Bills in this game, but I think the Rams have a better team. So I don't know. I do like the over. This is a game I'm probably going to put action on. If you bet on this game, bet the over. Bet the over. Here's another game, Houston at Pittsburgh. The over-under is 45. Pittsburgh's a 4-point favorite. It's been really steady at 4, and I'm really tempted to take Houston in this game. I'm not going to pull the trigger on Houston, but Pittsburgh has not looked good against the Giants or Denver. Yeah, they've won both games, but I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not sold on Pittsburgh. As of today, I would probably have them as one of the wild card teams, but I'm not sold on them. And as you know, I got Houston over 7.5. So I would really like to take Houston. I'm going to avoid this game like the plague, though. Next game, San Francisco at the Giants. The over-under is 42. It is a small number, a lot of injuries. Jimmy, I see why you like the under. That is such a small number, and there has been a lot of scoring in the NFL. I'm not convinced that Nick Mullins is going to really be a lot worse than Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's kind of a different rant for a different day. But I could actually see the Giants winning this game, believe it or not. But the over-under of 42, I get why you would take that game. I'm going to avoid it, but I get why you would take the under of 42. It's just such a small number. I kind of hate that. Next game, Tennessee at Minnesota. The over-under is 50. Kind of a big number, believe it or not. And then Minnesota is a home dog. You guys know that I have a huge Mike Zimmer crush. And the thing is that I have a hard time believing that the Vikings are going to go 0-3. Tennessee struggled against a bad Denver team. Tennessee struggled against a team that's 1-2 in Jacksonville. So to sit here and say that Tennessee's going to go on the road and win a third game against a desperate Vikings team, I would really doubt it. And Music City guy, I haven't seen you make a comment yet. I really would love to hear from you because I think this is a game Minnesota. I would actually want to take Minnesota, but I said Minnesota last week. Remember, Alex, you warned me that Indianapolis was the better pick, and I did not agree with you. So I'm not going to put action on this game because I do have a Zimmer crush. And maybe I just like Zimmer too much. So I'm going to avoid it, but I do like Minnesota. I didn't put it on here, but I probably sorry about that. I probably should have put it on here earlier, but I do like over on this game. This is probably my one game I do like. All right, next game. Washington at Cleveland. Over-under is 45. I know Washington's offense has not looked good, but I actually really kind of like the over. I'm not going to put action on this game. I'm tempted to pick Washington because I like that defensive line quite a bit, but I don't think they're ready. I think this could be a surprisingly high-scoring game. Dwayne Haskins comes back to Ohio. If you remember, he played at Ohio State. I think it was like 49 touchdowns that year at Ohio State. Um, I would take the over on this game. I'm going to avoid it, but I wouldn't. I think that this is a game that could be a surprising shootout. Cincinnati at Philly, the over under is 47.5. By the way, I did you guys a disservice because I should have jumped on board earlier because the game opened at 45. It's been skyrocketing to 47.5. This is a game that at 45 you should have jumped all over the over. This is an over. This is two quarterbacks that are going to throw the ball a lot. These are two teams with bad defenses. I do like Philly in this game to cover 4.5, but with all the problems they've had, I'm going to avoid it. But I would probably, this is a game I would be tempted to double dip on and take Philly, but I do like the over. I did you guys a disservice because it should have been at 45. Now it's jumped all the way up to 47.5. I think that this could be a high scoring game. I think this could be a high scoring game. And I want to put some comments in here. I want to, we're going to talk, Alex, about the Chiefs here. So Jimmy, I 100% agree. This is going to be a great game. I think it is going to be a good test. And it's a West Coast team going to the East Coast for a noon game. I cannot emphasize, I think this is a lot harder than a East Coast team going to the West Coast. So Alex, I kind of agree with you here. The Bills have a lot of injuries. The one thing I will say is that their linebackers look healthy. But one thing I saw was that even though Josh Allen had 400 yards, is that he had a perfect pocket. I mean, it was like a high school pocket that he was able to throw out of. He won't get that with Aaron Donald by himself. So that's something that I think will really have a problem. This is going to be such a fun game. So yeah, Funk, man, I am so. Alex, I wasn't blowing you off. I actually just kind of lost track, so I started rambling here. So, Funk, man, it is really, really good to hear from you. I haven't talked about the Lions yet, but we started earlier in the show. We were kind of reminiscing about old school Lions players. So, yeah, man. Next, Chicago at Atlanta. This is an interesting game because I've watched both teams, and I think Atlanta has a better team than Chicago, but they've had the right tackle being injured is a problem. The old school in me thinks that you take defense over offense, especially with the banged up offensive line. I have a hard time, though, looking at Chicago as a better team than Atlanta. Now, Jimmy Stoneful, I got this number about is less than an hour ago. So if you are going to put action on this game, especially if you're taking Chicago, get the hook, man. Get the hook. But I really struggled on this one because I don't know if I want to go with the old school or not. I'm going to avoid this game, but Jimmy, if you're going to take the Bears, which is a good bet, a very good bet, yeah, take 3.5. Yeah, you're not Funk. I don't know. Did you hear me earlier? I used to pretend I was Billy Sims when I was a little kid. I used to pretend I was Billy Sims. Yeah. I did the same thing, man. I loved Billy Sims, man. Oh yeah. We're gonna start rambling about old school 80s running backs here. Billy Sims, Peyton. I loved Eric Dickerson. I could seriously, we could actually go on for the next hour about 80s running backs I liked. Yeah. And that's another thing, Mike. That's a great point. From what I know, is that their two linebackers are going to play. Okay, and that's another big deal. Is that Edmonds is? I have a man crush on Tremaine Edmonds, and him just being on the field, even if he's not healthy, him just being on the field means a lot. So That's kind of why Jimmy was talking about taking Chicago in 3.5, and that's why if you are going to take Chicago, get the hook. But I've watched enough of Atlanta. Atlanta had the better team. Atlanta had the better team than Atlanta's a better team than Dallas. Okay. But that's a game I'm going to avoid, but I have a feeling I might kick myself, especially if Chicago can come out and score early. So yeah, man, we might have to do this. We might have to do like an '80s running backs. I loved Eric Dickerson. I every time I get chills watching old Eric Dickerson highlights, whether he's at SMU or with the Rams. Once he goes to the Colts, he's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but when he was with the Rams, I mean, oh my God. You remember that? You know what clip I'm talking about? He has that 85-yard run against the Jets. A guy's like flailing his arms, and okay, I gotta get off that topic here, but all right, Jets at Colts. The over-under is 44. It's a small number, but the Jets offense looks really bad. Adam Gase is on, I mean, hot's not even the appropriate word. Could be boiling lava. It's just been terrible. I would not touch 11.5 with the Colts. So I kind of want to say the over just because I could see the Jets just getting a garbage touchdown. So yeah. But out of these games, if I had to go ahead and just take a bet, I would probably take the over on this game. I'm going to avoid it. If you want to take the Colts for 12, I want to hear from you. I can't do it. I can't recommend it, but I'd love to hear from you. Okay. Herbert is going to start. Really bad situation, but Justin Herbert's future of this team. Carolina at the Chargers. The over-under is 43.5. And if you're wondering why, it's because the Chargers offense, 20 points and 16 points. That's only 18. And, keep in mind, they put up 20 against Kansas City, who has a decent but not great defense. So I get why the over-under is 43.5. And the Chargers have a good defense, and I think Carolina's a dumpster fire, but I really like the over on this game, and I'll tell you why. Justin Herbert's going to get the first team reps this week, and he's going to do it against a bad defense, and I think that he's going to have a good game. If you watch him against Kansas City, he did everything right. The only thing he did is he had an interception where he should have ran for the first down, and he threw a hero ball into double coverage. The thing is that he's got talented receivers. He's got a massive arm. This is a game I really, really like, and the reason why I like it is I think it's not going to be a 40-30 type of game, but I think the Chargers are going to surprise people and score 20, maybe even 30 points in this game. Keep in mind, I think the Chargers do have a decent defense, but Carolina is due for a garbage touchdown or two. I really, really like over 43.5 in this game. So this is a game I am going to put action on. I'm of course, this is a game I really like. You can't even see me. I'm putting my hands up for no reason at all. Here's the thing, man. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Chargers Chiefs game, but Herbert looked really good. And what they're going to do is they're going to use him a lot of the same ways. They did some read option. They ran kind of a college offense with him. They didn't ask him to do a lot of read and react. They just did a lot of 2-3 step and throw, and he can do that. He can do that very well. Keenan Allen is an absolute monster. Mike Williams can get down the field. They have a good running game, and Herbert can run. Herbert can run. A lot of people don't realize that he's a big kid, but I think he ran like a 4.6 at the combine. They're going to do a lot of. We'll go back here. We'll talk a lot about what the Cowboys did when Dak Prescott first came in. They ran a college offense and they were successful running the ball. the Chargers are going to do the same thing. They're going to run the ball, but when they throw, they can throw downfield. This is a game I really think the Chargers are going to win. And not only do I think the Chargers are going to win, I think it's going to be higher scoring. I only need 43 and a half. This is a good game for the over, but hey, you know what? I don't think. Yeah, you're Alex. You're 100% correct. But if you watched him play, if the quarterback position was an upgrade, the Chiefs have a decent the Chiefs have a better defense than Carolina, and they're going to score enough. Keep in mind, Carolina gets a garbage touchdown or two late, but I don't see this being a 10-7 game at all. I love the over on this game. I listen, as far as the over covers, as a Chiefs fan, of course, I would love to see Carolina win. I just think Carolina's going to be an absolute dumpster fire. So, Jimmy, this is a game I really love. It's a low number. It's a low number, but it has the potential to be a high scoring game. Remember, Carolina put up 30 points against the Raiders, who I don't think have a terrible defense. It's a young defense. They're not playing as good as I thought, but I really think that this is a game that could be a potential shootout. Herbert's the future, and I'll tell you, even when Tyrod Taylor's healthy, I don't care what the coach says. Herbert's the future of that team, and I think you'll see a very basic college offense. But keep in mind, a lot of you don't follow the AFC West like I do. A lot of you don't follow the AFC West like I do. I'm telling you right now, Keenan Allen is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He is going to have a big day. He looked really good. Him and Herbert looked in sync. So, yeah. All right. Let's all right. I kind of went on a rant, but yeah, I really love the over on that game. All right, next we got Detroit at Arizona. The over-under is very high. It's 55. I was tempted for the under, but the thing is, I think that Detroit may come out of its shell. I could see them doing well. I don't think Arizona really has that good of a defense. They did decent against the Washington team, but that's a different thing. This could be a fun game. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Arizona. I thought this might jump up to 7. All right. I thought it might jump up to 7. I'm going to avoid this game because I'm not sold on Arizona. I'm not sold on Arizona at all. I want the number over under to be lower because I could see this being a shootout. It's going to be a fun game. I'm more interested to see if Arizona wins this game, how they'll react being 3-0 and with a chance to go to the playoffs. But the over under's high. I thought this would be higher, but I'm not going to put action on this game. This is a game I was tempted to put action on, but I'm going to avoid Tampa Bay at Denver. The over-under is 43. I really want to put action on the over because I think Tampa Bay's offense will put up points. I don't know if Denver's offense will put up points. They put up 21 against Pittsburgh, which has a pretty good defense. Driscoll's not a bad quarterback, especially as a backup. He's not good either. I don't know what Melvin Gordon will do against a really good running defense. I think Tampa Bay may just want to just play ball control and try to win an ugly game. I like Tampa Bay in this game, but bottom line, Denver covered last week, so I would avoid this game. So Kenny will be back. Funk, I'm sorry, man. I'm drawing a blank here. Who you're referring to, brother? Alex, I had Vegas above Denver, but I had in the beginning of the season, I really thought that both the Raiders and the Broncos could be a wild card. I thought both teams could be wild cards because I thought Denver with Von Miller and that defense could really, really be good. But without Von Miller, they're in Galladay. I'm sorry, man. you're right. I just 55 is a big number. I do like the over on that game. I'm not going to bet it, but I do like it. I do like it. This is a game I do like, but I heard some great advice. Okay, this game's Dallas at Seattle. The over under's 57. I heard a lot of people like the over on this game, even though it's 57. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I really like Seattle, but somebody gave me some good advice. He says, never take a team to cover that can't stop anybody. Never take a team to cover that can't stop anybody. So I'm kind of hesitant because this was actually at 5.5. It dropped down to 5. I really like Seattle in this one because I think Seattle could win this game by double digits. I really do. So I'm really tempted to take Seattle, but when I heard that piece of advice, it really got me thinking, hey, you're I got some great games here. Yeah. No. And Alex, I 100% agree with you, but the guy had a good point. The guy, by the way, the guys I was hearing from is, we're saying they love the over. They think it's going to be a high scoring game. It doesn't matter what the number hits because it's not going to hit 60, but it probably should be at 60. This is a game I may double dip on and take the over, even though 57 is a huge number. I may take the over, but I just like Seattle in 5. You're at home. You're a much, much better team. And here's the thing. If you took Dallas away, if you didn't have the Cowboys, this would be 6.5. Yes, 6.5. So, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, Funk. If this was at 53, I'm taking over on this game because I'm not sold on Arizona's defense. And here's the thing too. I'm not sold on Arizona. That's why I'm avoiding that game. Chad's in the house. Chad, I don't know if you listen, but my buddy Jeff, who has been wanting to go shooting, you haven't met him yet. Jeff is super cool guy. He wants to go shooting. So next Saturday, make some time. I need to introduce you to Jeff. And me and Jeff are going to go shooting. You need to come shooting. So I'm glad you're in the house, man. Sorry, guys. I made this personal. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself here. I want everybody to know I don't want to offend anybody. If you're anti-gun, I completely understand, and I 100% respect your opinion. For fun, I do like going to the shooting range. Me and some friends like to go shooting. We've been not doing it since this pandemic has been going on, but something we've done quite a bit. So it's something that I brought up, and I want you to know whether you're pro-gun, you're anti-gun, you're welcome on this show. This is not a show where I'm going to talk gun rights, but yeah. Chad, it's not this Saturday. I got to work. I can't do it this next Saturday. I had Jeff on, so next Saturday we'll talk later here. I don't want to insult people, so yeah. Yeah, he did. He did. And Khalil Mack has not played right. James, there's a lot of things I really like about the Detroit Lions. I just think that the coaching and the organizational structure and how they're doing things is all wrong. But there's a lot of things I like about the Detroit Lions, and I love Matthew Stafford. So we'll go back to this here, but yeah, these are two things I am probably going to take. Sunday night. This is a fun game. Green Bay at the Saints. The over-under is 53. I really wanted this to be lower because I really think this could be a fun shootout type of game. But at 53, I'm going to avoid it. Jimmy, I'm leaning towards the Saints, but I'm avoiding this because I got action on the Saints over 10.5 wins for the year. and I haven't decided if I just want that bet to win enough or not. But bottom line, um, I'm going to avoid it, but I really think the Saints, but it might just be me. But yeah. And then, of course, there's a minor game going on Monday night. I don't know if any. This is the game of the year, and keep in mind, I am a Chiefs fan. I've been a Chiefs season ticket holder since '89, but I try to be objective. I do not want this to be a show where we just talk Chiefs or it's just pro Chiefs. But I've been a Chiefs season ticket holder for since 1989. Of course, I'm not going to games this year. This is not a battle between the two best teams in AFC. It's a battle between the two best teams in the NFL. And it's going to be a fun game. I think the winner of this game will have a leg up in a home field advantage for the AFC. But the thing is with this game, and this is going to be a point throughout the year, is that it's going to matter who can stay healthy. There's a lot of injuries going on. And I think that's a big deal with Kansas City. Kansas City does not have a lot of depth. They can't afford a lot of injuries. Baltimore has more depth as a team, but if Lamar Jackson goes down, they have to change everything completely. Ooh, you know what? Mike, after you called that Coastal Carolina KU game, I haven't had a chance to look. Is this a noon game? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if it's a late game, I'll put action on Kentucky just based on your word alone. I'll put action on. I may not put a lot. I might just put 50 down. But I'm not going to be able to get to. If it's a night game, I'll put action down. Do me a favor, Mike. If you can email me or mention or bring this up again later in the show, I'll put a note here because I haven't had a chance really to look at any college, but I will. You've been good on college. I'll put 50 on your word, even though not only that, I do love Stoops. I do love Stoops. So sorry, I got distracted, guys. Okay. Two best teams in the NFL, and I am a Chiefs fan, so you have to take what I say with a grain of salt. I like Kansas City plus 3.5. Now, I will not put action on just 3, and this game has bounced back and forth between 3 and 3.5. Mike, thank you, brother. Please do, because if it's a late game, I'll put action on it. I will take Kansas City at 3.5, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. If there's something that you want to look at, I can go ahead and put it off, but you get to look at the talent here now. So yeah, you get to look at the talent. So bottom line, with the Chiefs game, the over-under is 55, which is a big number. There is a chance I will maybe put a small bet on the over, but I've been burned on the over-under with the Chiefs twice. I don't want to take the under because I could see these teams scoring at will. I do like Kansas City in this game, and the reason why I like Kansas City is that Baltimore matches up really well against the Chiefs, except for one minor thing. But let's talk about what I like with Baltimore first. So yeah, Jimmy. I'm going to be very clear. I'm not going to take Kansas City in 3. I want the hook. I'm getting that 3.5. Now I do like Kansas City, but keep in mind you're talking to a season ticket holder since '89. So yeah, take what I say with a grain of salt. Take what I say with a grain of salt. But I'm going to break down this game and the reason why I like Kansas City. The Ravens defense has some advantages. When they played Kansas City last year, they didn't have Marcus Peters. Jimmy Smith wasn't healthy. They had Marlon Humphrey. Well, now I think Jimmy Smith's healthy. They have Marcus Peters. It's a big help. So they have corners that can match up with the wide receivers. But the thing is with the Ravens is that front seven, which they invested some draft capital from Patrick Queen. I don't forget the other middle linebacker of Ohio State. hasn't really played that well. And that defensive line, they beat a JV team in the Browns. They beat a Houston Texans team, which Alex, you tell me, but didn't Bill O'Brien like have a bunch of really weird decisions? So, I you know what, I at my bookie, I think it was plus 3.5, but I think it was at negative 115. So, yeah, yeah. So I mean, guys, great comments. This is my favorite. I can't tell you. I'm like a kid at Christmas, man, or a kid with like a giant bag of candy. I'm doing my favorite thing on planet Earth. I'm just sitting around with some smart guys. I mean, I've one of the things I don't do is I don't go to a bar and talk football because I get idiots and then I get amped up. And but anyway, let me get back to Kansas City and Baltimore. Baltimore has corners, okay, that match up with the Chiefs receivers, but they don't have a front seven or anybody who can hang with Travis Kelce. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Here's why Kansas City, I really like Kansas City over Baltimore. Baltimore has nobody who can cover Kelce. Nobody. And if you want to put a rookie linebacker or a second-year safety on Kelce, good luck. But here's what I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see Kansas City surprise people and actually run the football because I think Kansas City can run the ball against Baltimore. Keep in mind, Baltimore was blowing out Cleveland, so they couldn't do anything. Houston was doing some really crazy things. I think Houston went into that game kind of intimidated. But here's what I see. I think Kansas City can run against Baltimore. You Baltimore is not going to put 7 in the box. They're not going to be able to stop Kelce. And even though they have really good corners that can play Kansas City, what are they going to do about the run? This is going to be the first team that they're going to play that's going to be able to run the ball against them. And the reason why is that you want a rookie running back beating you, or do you want Patrick Mahomes beating you? Now, last year, I can't pronounce his name. His last name's Namdi. And what it is that for those of you who aren't Chiefs fans, he was a holdover for the 3-4 defense. We drafted him to play the zero technique in a 3-4 defense, which if you don't know, his job is just to absorb blocks. He's listed, I think it's 6'1 or 6'2. He's like 5'11, but he's like 330. I can't even, he's like 330. Anyway, when the Chiefs played the Ravens last year, early in the first quarter, I'm sorry, it was actually late in the first quarter, it was a design run around the left side. Lamar Jackson went around the left side, and Nadi shot the gap and tackled him for like a 1 or 2 yard gain. Nadi's about 325, 330, and he got a clean shot on Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson wasn't right the rest of the game. Lamar Jackson got up slow. It wasn't a dirty hit. It wasn't a cheap shot. It was just a football play. Neither team got mad, at each other like it was a dirty hit. I really thought that after that game, more teams would just try to hit Lamar Jackson the same way. This was a 330-pounder that just took a running start and slammed right into Lamar Jackson, and he wasn't right the rest of the game. I think the statistics, he was like 21 out of 39, had 2 interceptions. They if you look at the box score, the score I think was 33-28, but at the end of 3, it was 30 to 10 or 30 to 13. It was an easy win, but they got a couple garbage touchdowns late, but they were in no danger to win the game. If you look at the game and you say 33-28, that was a close game, and that was at Arrowhead. No, I was there. They were in no danger of losing that game. Plus, if you hit Lamar Jackson and you hit him hard and you hit him early, and he wasn't the same. That's how you beat him. I'm really surprised more teams don't do this. The thing is with Kansas City is that their defensive line is the strength of their defense. Now, can you run the ball against Kansas City? The answer is yes, but their front 4 can get after Lamar Jackson, which is rare, which is very rare. For this game, I like over, but 55 is a big number. Still a big number, but I love Kansas City in 3.5. I might grow some balls and put money on the money line, but more than likely, I'm going to take advantage of 3.5. So just kind of summarize the games I like. Kansas City in 3.5. I like Seattle in 5. I really like Seattle in 5, but and I like the over, even though 57 is a really big number. I might not pull the trigger on either one of those. Chargers, Carolina is a game I really love. I love over 43.5. That's a game I'm probably going to put heavy action on. And I'm leaning towards over for Buffalo and the Rams, 46.5. But my number one game as of right now is the over for Chargers and Carolina and Kansas City, 3.5. Those are my top two. And then some other games I may put action down on is Seattle covering 5, which is a big number, but I think that they're when I look at those two teams, I'm really seeing Seattle being at least a touchdown better. I somebody said, will Seattle cover 6.5? I want to say yes, but Seattle doesn't have good defense, so I get that. So I'm leaning towards putting action down on both 57, and I took it off the dual screen. I'm still sitting here playing with it. So, but again, these are games that I'm thinking about, kind of thinking out loud, but it'll be very interesting to see how they handle Pittsburgh. I'm not going to put action on this R. So, Chad, are you talking about next Saturday? Hopefully, or are you talking about? Because I know you guys are doing something this Saturday, and I got to do like 400 different things. I probably don't want to jump on this fire, but there was a lot of Twitter talk about like head coaches on the firing block, and Bill O'Brien and Mike Zimmer were on that list. And this is just a fanboy, so I didn't take it too serious. But yeah, it kind of sort of is. But if you remember, though, wasn't it 2 years ago they started 0-3 and then won 9 straight? So I'm not, even if you start 0-3, I still feel good about my 7.5, which is really all I care about. If you are if you being a Texans fan, I know you want to see better than 7.5. I'm pulling for you guys against Pittsburgh. I want to be very clear. I really want to see Houston beat Pittsburgh. I really want to see that, but I'm not putting action down on it. I'm not putting action down. Yeah, next Saturday, and I haven't heard from Jeff, so maybe he got off. But yeah, and you've needed to meet Jeff for a while. Super cool guy. You're really, you and Jeff are probably really going to hit it off. So Matt Patricia could be gone if they look bad against. They're okay. You probably saw J-Mo. He wants him fired yesterday, but he's not, even if they lose by 50, they're not going to fire him after the Arizona game. But they play the Saints in week 4. There's a very good chance that he is fired at the bye, because I have no idea. I have no idea. With the new ownership in play, it's still the Ford family, but it's a new owner and it's a younger owner, so there's definitely a chance they could pull the pin early. The one thing though about, I'll be honest with you, I think the first head coach, if you had to say give me the first head coach to be fired, I think it's going to be Adam Gase, and the reason why I say that is because Greg Williams has head coaching experience. Greg Williams can take over. Greg Williams took over for I forgot the guy's name, for Cleveland, and led Cleveland to a winning record. The Cleveland Browns' last head coach who had a winning record was Greg Williams, who's the current defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. He's the guy who got blamed for Bounding Gate and all that other crap, but he's a guy who deserves to be an NFL head coach. So I think that he will take over as head coach for the Jets very soon. I think he'll take over probably in the next couple of weeks, unless the Jets really turn things around, which I don't see it. With Patricia, if Patricia gets fired, I don't know who would take over as head coach. I don't see anybody on that coaching staff. I'd be like, hey, you can take over for Patricia. I actually think that Patricia will get fired. I don't see any way around it, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. For those of you who don't know, I've never talked to. I used to be a huge Penn State fan, but once the scandal happened, I haven't really been able to be a fan of Penn State. I was such a diehard fan. I thought about doing a video about a former diehard Penn State fan and how I feel now. I used to have all sorts of stuff with Penn State. I took it all down. I had so much Penn State stuff. The scandal really was heartbreaking for me. I might have to do a video on that one of these days. Yeah, no, I agree. And one thing is, I think that they need to run the ball a little more. I'm a little disappointed in your offensive line. Wasn't correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Fuller banged up again? So, Chad, man, you enjoy, and I completely disagree. Gase, okay. Mike, I've heard different versions. I heard that, and then I also heard that the Jets wanted an experienced head coach or experienced defensive coordinator because Adam Gase is an offensive guy and Williams is a defensive guy, so they're kind of going to be like, quote, both head coaches. These guys apparently do not work well together. So, yeah, I heard that though. And I actually thought it would work because I think Greg Williams should be an NFL head coach. I don't think he'll get a chance, but he'll take over for Gase, I think, really soon. Because this looks terrible. And I think that what Gase is doing, and I'll tell you, okay, let me do this. If Williams takes over, I can tell you what he'll do. He'll do the same exact thing he did in Cleveland. They'll run the ball more. He'll simplify the playbook. He'll play good defense. They'll play old school football, and I think they'll be better. And I'd like to think that they would be well enough. And because I think Greg Williams should be an NFL head coach. But he'll get his chance. He'll get his chance with the Jets soon. I think Adam Gase, who I think's better than most people, is just in a bad situation right now. So yeah, I love that. That's actually a really good 3-game parlay. To tell you the truth, I'm probably going to do the same thing, except I'm going to avoid the Giants and the Niners just because I kind of like that Mullins kid, and I could just. That's a great parlay. Actually, I'm gonna avoid it because I'm gonna avoid the Giants Niners game, and I hope that what's going to happen, and I think what could happen is about if you're in Detroit, you're on Eastern time, so 2:00 Central. I'm probably looking at a 3-0 game between the Giants and the Niners. Going, oh, yes, Jimmy. I think it's a great parlay. Please let me know if you do it. I think it's a great parlay. Don't do your whole bankroll on it, but I like that parlay. I'm probably going to do something very similar, but I'm avoiding that Niners game, and I hope that's a 3-0 game too. So, yeah, that's what I thought. And Will Fuller's one of those guys, and I'm not just saying this because you're a Texans fan, but yeah, when Will Fuller is healthy, that team is so good. He's one of those guys that when he plays, he is so good. He can't stay healthy. This is a guy I wish, just as a football fan, would play for 16 games in one season. just one season. And here's the problem: they really need it, and yeah, when don't be surprised if they lose to Pittsburgh and then run off 4 or 5 straight wins. But he needs to get healthy. Yeah. No, Mike. Gase was hired before Williams. I've heard teams do this. Teams do this where they say the head coach hired the defensive coordinator, but it was actually the general manager. Sometimes the general manager, the most famous situation was the '85 Bears, where Buddy Ryan was kept as the defensive coordinator, and Mike Ditka was the head coach, and there was, friction between the two. So sometimes what happens is you get the head coaching job, but you don't get to pick your assistants. And I don't know if Gase was the one who hired Williams, or if it was the general manager and the owner who said that, hey, we're going to bring in this defensive coordinator because you're an offensive guy. And keep in mind, even if you don't get to bring in your defensive coordinator publicly, you have to say, this is my guy. But I've heard that these guys don't get along. And I think that this is a situation where after 2 weeks, it clearly hasn't worked. If they play really bad for the next week or two, if they're not even competitive, then Williams is going to take over. And I think that first game that Williams takes over, I'll probably put action on the Jets, because I think he's a guy who deserves a head coaching job. I like Gase. I'm not anti-Gase at all. I think he's in a bad situation. I think the offensive line's bad. I don't think they have the skill position talent. I believe in Darnold. It's just that I don't think Darnold has the tools that he needs. So I think that what you do is that when you have a limited offense, you dumb it down and play old school football. And I don't think Gase wants to do that. He's never been that type of guy. Mike, if you take that action, please let me know. I'm probably going to do something very similar, except I'm avoiding that Niners game. 42 is just such a low number. The one thing is, I loved Daniel Jones coming out of Duke. The 49ers have like 47 players in that defense that are hurt. I know that Shepard's out, of course, Barkley's out, but I want to say I think the tight end's out also, but keep in mind 42 is just such a low number. Here's the thing. This is the whole point of this. This is not me being 100% right. I want to hear from you guys. To tell you the truth, after hearing you guys talk about it, because I could easily see this being a 7-3 type of game. And if you guys win that parlay, I might just jump on and do it myself. I'll come out with the video tomorrow afternoon, and I'll let you know, but it wouldn't surprise me if that parlay hits. So I hope you guys do it. Man, listen, man, I have 250 on the Texans over 7.5, and I feel good. I feel good. This is good. It could be 4-2. That Jimmy, that's probably going to be my number one bet. Because that number is low, and I think the charge. I'm telling you right now, the Chiefs' defense is not bad. It's not a top 10 defense, but it's not bad. But the Chargers' offense looked good at times. You have to realize, if you don't know the situation, Justin Herbert didn't know until game time. He didn't prep. He didn't do anything, and he looked good. He looked really good. They easily could have won that game. The Chargers do have a good defense. Do they have a top 10 defense? It's close, but keep in mind, the over-under is 43.5. That's a small number. The Carolina can easily get a touchdown or two in garbage time to cut that. So, no, it wouldn't surprise me either. And one thing is that you got to realize about the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a lot of injuries in the middle of the season, but towards the end of the season, they were looking really, really good. So you keep in mind, listen, a healthy Fuller in December is a lot better than a healthy Fuller in October, sidelines in December. I'd rather have Fuller sidelined now and healthy in December. So that's what you got to think about. It wouldn't surprise me if the Houston Texans turn this around. I have to admit, if they go 0-3 and Tennessee goes 3-0, that's going to be tough. But when Houston plays Tennessee, I'm probably going to pick Houston. Jimmy, it's funny because you got me thinking just the opposite. Because when I looked at that, I'm like, man, that's a small number, and I like Mullins. But now you got me thinking, man, because this easily could be. Funk called it right. It could be 4-2. This could be a stinker. But the one thing I have to say is that I don't like the Giants defense at all. I don't like the 49ers defense, but you're going against a team. I mean, who's going to be making a ton of plays? What would scare me about this game is that you get Mullins out there who if you don't know anything about Mullins, he went to Southern Mississippi. His hero is Brett Favre. He wore Favre's number, broke off Favre's records at Southern Miss. And I think that he actually could be an upgrade over Garoppolo because the one thing he does have is a strong arm. And I think that Deebo Samuel Samuel's not healthy, but the rookie Ayuk, who I'm really high on, he may be healthy. They are going to be able to run the ball in the Giants, but I think it's funny because I'm making you second guess it and you're making me second guess it. So it'll be interesting though. However, if you and Mike take that parlay, please let me know. Because that's something I might actually take some action on. But as of all the games I got, I'm avoiding that one. Just 42 is just such a small number, man. But you're Funk, you got. I'm scratching my eye here. Like I'm doing the video and I got lights on each side here, as you can see, and it's doing something goofy with this eye, but. That you're Funk, you're 100% right. That game could be a 4-2 stinker, but I tried telling Niners fans this. I got so much hate from the 49ers. I tried telling them this is not a good team. This is not going to be a good team. It would not surprise me. I'm going to give you something really weird. It would not surprise me, and I did a video of this right after the Super Bowl. Niners fans blasted me for it, but I would not surprise me if the Niners go 7-9 and fire Kyle Shanahan. Now go with me on this. Go with me on this. This is a little difficult, but this is some high level math. Okay, 23 and 25. 23 is a smaller number than 25, and that's Kyle Shanahan's record. He had 2 straight double-digit losing seasons, and he had that great Super Bowl season. So if he goes back to 7-9, you're a coach for 4 seasons, and you lose 3 of them. All right? John Lynch, who's the general manager, he played in Tampa Bay, where they fired Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy and replaced him with Gruden, who I think will make Hall of Fame someday. But they fired a Hall of Fame coach. So you think he'll fire Kyle Shanahan after 3 out of 4 losing seasons and an overall losing record? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. And I think that the guy he might bring in to replace him, it might be Jim Harbaugh. But I'm going to tell you right now, it may not seem like it, but Kyle Shanahan is on the hot seat, believe it or not. Yeah, Alex, you're 100% correct, and that was the thing about the Chiefs when the Chiefs went into the playoffs and they were healthy. They had Chris Jones, who was their best defensive player. He missed a large part of the season. Patrick Mahomes, we had that dislocated knee. He missed part of the season. Sammy Watkins, who I think is going to play against Baltimore. I should know this, but I haven't. It's been a hectic week. That's something I will research, by the way, but I think he is going to play against Baltimore. He makes a big difference. He was healthy. And I tried telling people this, but people wouldn't listen. And then of course, if you talk to 49ers fans before the Super Bowl, they thought that they had the 85 Bears defense. And I tried telling them that the Chiefs defense throughout the regular season gave up 308, where 49ers gave up 310, and 308's a smaller number than 310, but yeah. Yeah, um I don't think so, to be perfectly honest. But the thing is, what does scare me about the Niners is that you get Mullins in there, and Mullins can do things that Garoppolo can't. Mullins has more arm strength. He can go downfield. There's problems in the Giants secondary. He could just get in there. And the one thing I really like about Mullins is that, and I'm not comparing him to Brett Favre, but when he played 2 years ago, he was the third string quarterback, worked his way up to the second string quarterback. The one thing he did is he threw the ball, and he threw the ball well, and he had no fear about throwing the ball. See, with Garoppolo, he doesn't have any arm strength, so you're running the ball, but you can put 7, 8 in the box at all times. You can't do that with Mullins. And I'm not telling you that Mullins is a better quarterback, but Mullins has more arm strength, and he opens up the field a lot more. So you're able to do more things. You can get a little creative. Anytime you go into a game and you also change the game plan, like for example with Kansas City, Herbert came in, they changed some things. It kind of confused Kansas City a little bit. Keep in mind when the same thing, when you go ahead and you change the offense around a quarterback, well, you build the team around that quarterback. Mullins can do things Garoppolo can't. Mullins can go downfield. Garoppolo can't. Now, is Mullins going to be able to have pinpoint accuracy? Well, I might be exaggerating, but is he as accurate of a passer as Jimmy Garoppolo? No, he is not. Can he go downfield? Yes. The Giants don't have a good defense. But when you got a quarterback who's going to throw downfield, it's kind of a boom or bust thing. What I really could see happening is that I could see him throwing the ball downfield and getting a pick six, and that ends up busting your parlay. But with the Giants, I know that without Saquon, they've had some issues, but I do like Daniel Jones. I think the 49ers defense they're missing a lot of guys. So that's what scares me. The more and more I talk about, though, the more and more I like the under. So I mean, I want you to pull the trigger on it. Again, 42 is just a small number. Oh yeah, Alex, this is a fantastic point. There's Fly. I'm gonna kill him if he gets near my. Fantastic point. Yeah, they started off 2-4. Bench Mariota, which I predicted, and they ended up finishing 9-7. Another team's Philadelphia. They were 4-7, won the last 5, and ended up getting into. They ended up getting into the playoffs. Now, of course, Wentz got hurt, but there's a good chance they may have advanced. And keep in mind, they won the Super Bowl for backup quarterback. So who knows? If Philly gets into the playoffs? You never know. But it's always how a team does towards the end of the season, and this year more than any, because it seems like so many players are getting hurt. Like, I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. You take out Mahomes. Are they a playoff team without Mahomes? I don't know. I know that the Ravens, top to bottom, are probably a better team than Kansas City. But you take away Lamar Jackson, or do they make the playoffs? I don't know. You take away Ben Roethlisberger from the Steelers, do they make the playoffs? The answer is no. And keep in mind, I mean, Roethlisberger's a guy who could get injured. Mahomes got injured last year. Lamar Jackson running the way he does, he's probably going to get injured sooner or later. With the Titans, Derrick Henry keeps touching the ball 30 times a game, which he's done in the first 2 games. If he touches the ball 30 times a game against in the next game, then he's not staying healthy for 16. I guarantee you that. So this year, it's this year more than a lot of other years. It has to be with health and depth. But for this week, you can kind of take advantage of that, because Kansas City's going into the game relatively healthy. Baltimore's going into the game relatively healthy. There is no home field advantage. That's why I like Kansas City at 3.5, because I think you're looking at 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I like the matchup favoring Kansas City. hopefully I'm not a homer there. Alex, I completely agree because Dallas isn't that good of a team. They're not. I'm going to tell you right now. Even if I don't win that bet, I don't see a way Dallas wins in Seattle. I don't see it. This, it's actually, you actually have a good point. I'll tell you right now, I think the Giants are in bad shape. I don't think Washington looks good, but I think they can turn it around. That defensive line has talent. Haskins has talent. He just needs a weapon or two. The thing is with Philly is that they're going to get healthy. They're going to end the season strong. You can almost count on that. Dallas isn't that good of a team. They should be 0-2, looking at 0-3. And when they end up being 1-2, and hopefully Seattle covers 5. And again, I'll have that video. I have a lot of things I have to do before I get that video out. But when I put it out, I'll show you exactly what I bet dollar for dollar. And if there's an issue with my bookie and end up not making those bets, I'll still make a video with predictions, and we'll kind of go from there. But I got some time to do that. I have a very busy Saturday, but I will have a video. I'm going to do my best to have the video out Saturday afternoon. And if I do get that account and that Kentucky Auburn game's late, I am going to put action on that, Mike, because I like Stoops, and your Coastal Carolina call was brilliant. Alex, you have a good point, and I can't emphasize this enough with Dallas, and Dallas fans don't like me either, but I'm 100% correct. You're bringing in a new defense, and their defense hasn't played good. You're bringing in a coach who wants to run a completely different style of defense, who hasn't been a defensive coordinator for a couple of years. You're bringing in an offense that's completely different, that wants to throw the ball everywhere, but your offense is designed to run the ball. So, and you're not sold on Prescott, which is funny because Prescott's playing lights out, and him and his agent are just laughing right now because every time Prescott has a good game, it screws the Cowboys more and more, because if you were sold on Prescott, you should have signed him. You really should have signed him last year. You should have signed him last year to a contract, but you obviously don't think he's the guy. And could you possibly trade him? That's another thing. You can't trade him now. But at the end of the season, do you sign and trade? Do you trade him to a team that's going to be willing to sign him to a contract? That's a whole other ball of wax completely. So yeah, it's man. Yeah. So hey, listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna cut the show short here. Well, we've gone on for over an hour and a half. It's been a great show. You guys have had fantastic comments. Before you go, please, if you haven't already, give me that thumbs up. And if anybody hasn't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please help subscribe. It's always more fun when there's more comments in here. The video, like I said, will be released on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do my best to have it released in the afternoon. I have to work tomorrow morning after I get done. I have multiple errands to run. I will get those done. I'll get a hold of my bookie. If everything works out, everything seems legit, I'll make a deposit. I'll make my bets. And then as soon as I make the bets, I'll make the video. Hopefully that will go early afternoon for you guys. So, hey, you did take the parlay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, they should have. They should have. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, and that's probably going to be my big one too, Jimmy. That's probably going to be my big one. Kansas City 3.5, and then the other ones I'm kind of just gonna have to see how I feel. But again, I'll have the video coming out and I'll let you know. Good luck, buddy. You know I'm pulling for you. My favorite thing to do besides winning money for myself is watching you guys win money. So hey, listen, you have a great night, have a great weekend. Wednesday, new show. Hopefully all you guys are there. I will see you Wednesday, and don't forget to watch the video tomorrow.